for fur. So these are painted, and I sprayed just a gloss spray paint over the top so you can still see my little streaks through the hooves. And the fur on these is going to go right across kind of the front and then down to the side. And of course, be ever mindful of your zipper. Zipper is a pain right in my... So I will make a pattern or a template first, and I'm just using regular old paper towel. I'm going to put it across the front where I want it to lay. And keep in mind the furry, fringy part will be a little longer than the backing of the fur when you are making this. And just lay it where you want it. So I want it about right there. And down the side on both sides. Just a little finagling really. See? And then I hold it in the back. I fold the paper towel over. I just hold it with my fingers. And then you just need to feel where the top is of your shoe, boot, whatever you're making. See how it fits right on there? All handy-like. And mark it with a Sharpie. Paper towel is pretty forgiving. Obviously this doesn't have to be an exact science because most likely you'll have something coming over the top of this, whether it's leggings or tights or whatever you choose to do. Don't keep this totally closed because you're going to open right about to where I want in the front. And then to the sides. To the side, to the side. So with this pattern, I did account for the back of it, pretty close. But I did not account to cover this back panel. So when I transfer this onto my fur, I will leave another inch, half-inch on both sides. I prefer to leave extra. You can always trim it back once you've glued it onto your shoe versus coming up short. So I will get my fur and show you how to cut it out. Okay, fur. I got a charcoal gray long pile, super furry, off eBay. pretty cheap. You can also get a lot of fur at Joann's, which can be a little pricey for faux fur, but little secret, if you go on your phone, Google Joann Fabric Coupon, and go to their website, they usually have coupon codes for 40 or 50% off fabric. And just show it to the chickie at the checkout, and voila, half off your club. When you put your pattern on, which we'll put on the other side, make sure it's going this way, or towards the end of your shoe. Because like I said, this little fringy stuff down here, this is what's going to go over the front of the hoof. So if you cut it sideways or upside down, it's going to be all funky going the wrong way. So when I turn this over, I am mindful that the fur is growing or going this way. Then you lay out your pattern. This is the bottom of the hoof, and I remember to leave a little extra on this back edge because that goes on, meets at the back of the top heel, and I'm going to leave a little extra right here to cover that weird space on the back of the heel-less part. So I'm just going to trace this out with a Sharpie. So I'm all traced on here. This is the line that I want to cut. I do not cut this with scissors because when you cut the scissors, like I did for just to cut the chunk, it's a straight blocky edge, which you're still going to actually have at the top because the fur grows down. But if you cut with scissors down here, you're not going to get this feathered look. You're going to get a straight cut because you'll probably cut right through all the fur. And most Krampus and fauns I know do not go for a weekly hoof fur trimming. So you want that shag at the bottom. I use a X-Acto blade. I like a number 12 because it has a curve. And you're just going to cut through the fabric. You don't want to cut all the way through. So kind of pull it apart a little with your fingers as you cut and just go right along. It's usually not too difficult. Right along the cut, and you'll see where you missed a few, it'll kind of stick. So don't cut all the way through the fur. Just cut the backing more or less. And just a light little cutting. Cut, cut, cut. And this is how you're going to cut it out. So you see, all the fur is going to stay fringy. If I cut this with scissors, I'd be missing all of this stuff. So that is your tip for the day. Don't tell anyone. So finish cutting this out. You're going to have to do 2 of these if you have 2 feet. If you have 1 foot, you're going to be done a lot quicker. Okie dokie, artichokes. Time to put the fur on your shoe. You could use just a regular craft adhesive like the 3-in-1 or Fabri-Tac or whatever you are comfortable with. I like to use a glue gun with glue sticks. And the reason being is you can get glue sticks in about any color. And I prefer to have little strings to be removed that are black because they somewhat match the fabric in the shoe versus the clear stringy ones you can get with either clear glue or other adhesives. You can get this in about any color. So I'm going to go with the black. Keep a handful close by when you have to reload your gun. You can get it in brown. You can get it in pink. Whoever's making these in pink, please send me a picture. It's probably Justin Bieber. No, actually I'm not. Okay, so I cut this all out and it fits very well. You're going to kind of find the middle, and I like to attach the middle front first. It's going to be pretty snuggled right up to your edge. And that way, once this, I'm going to go from about here to here, and then once that's dry, you can pull this up and glue all of this down and push it really flat against this top part. and then your fringe will sit delicately over the front of your hoof. The zipper, goddamn zipper, do not glue over the zipper, because what we're going to do is glue it more along the edge, and then after all is said and done, we'll come back with scissors or a blade and free the fur flap, chunk, stripe section over the zipper. So don't worry about that now. I'm sure a lot of you were judging me when my pattern didn't have a square for the zipper, but I had a plan. There will be a little overlap back here and back here where I left the extra, and we'll tidy up that seam at the end as well. So for now, I'm going to get this part right in the front, and I'm going to use this glue gun because I think it's easiest. Make sure you have a little extra going in, because nothing is better than being halfway through and you frickin' run out of glue. So, word to the wise. So I'm just going to put this right along my edge. Yep, I'm doing it right now. Try to stop me either. And then take your fur and put it right along that edge. I did that. And give it a little pinch. Please don't burn your fingers off. Just don't. Somehow I'm sure I'll be responsible for that. Yeah. So I just leave a little tiny edge of the shoe showing. You can make it longer if you want to fold it in, but then the fur is going to stick straight out like you had bedhead. And I don't know if you want that. So that is the first gluing spot. I'm going to give that a couple seconds to really set, and then I'm going to glue down the front. But as you can see, right now it looks like it's really covering a lot of it. Once you push this in, you're going to just get that fringe on the end of your hook, which looks cool. Will hide any of your imperfections of the seam where the hoof meets the shoe. You can cut this shorter, you know, if you really want more hoof, less fur, then cut this line shorter before you put it on. But I am assuming you tried this on for fit before you started gluing your fur. So it should be pretty close to your pattern if your pattern fit well. Look at these. This is a hot mess. Looks like my dog. My dog looks like this every day. He's pretty. Okay, I'm going to let that set. See? This is my dog Groot. He's an Irish Wolfhound puppy. He's about 10 months old. And he does. His hair. Look at his hair. It looks just like the fur. He's a hot mess. Looks like he's ready to go to Walmart at any given notice. He's all furry. Groot. Totally match my shoes. He's a good boy. So next thing I'm going to do is, I was going to do the front next, but I think I'm going to finish going along the upper edge. Right along the outside, that's the middle back seam, and I'm going to put it right to there. I'm not going to glue the extra down yet because this moves and shifts. So I'm just going to get these upper layers on. Do not glue the zipper. So this part, you're just going to go right to the edge and then skip it and go back. So when you push it on, this part will not be glued down. So I'm going to do this outside edge. And I'm going to go right along the edge again, right to the middle seam in the back. See that? You can't see because this camera angle sucks. But right along here, and I'm just pinching it on. Like you're pinching something fun. And leave that up to your own imagination. And then I'm going to do this part. So here's that extra flap. Just leave that flapping. It's a flapper. And I'm going to put this part on. So I'm going to put a little bit right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and continue it on this side right to that middle piece. Just like that. You can pinch these together if you want, if that makes you happy. It's all about you. So see? Not glued. And then the next part we're going to do is the outside of this hoof. And there is a little triangle down here. See it? I'm a triangle. That is the part that fits right to this back corner. This fabric does have some give in it, so as you are gluing this on, keep in mind that that is supposed to be there so that when you push this front part on and work it down, you want this to end there. The whole idea is that it fits the way your pattern did. So I'm going to pull this flap up. I have my finger in the middle, right at the front top part, because I don't want this to shift. And I'm going to kind of hold that finger, holding that fur there, while I pull up the secret flap. Very secret. And I need more glue, of course. That's the way it is. Alright, so you can feel in there where it's already glued. Start gluing. Stay in glue. I don't have time for this right now. And I'm going to just pull this down and press it on. But the whole time I'm holding this corner in the corner. It's so pretty. I just glue this in. Gentle, firm pressure always works best. And then we go to the next little, do it in little bits. You don't need to, if you try to cover this whole thing with glue, you're going to run out of time. It's going to be too cool for school by the time you press your fabric down. So I'm just kind of going in chunks. See how I'm chunking? Stick it right under there. Keep it. And then again, hold your corner where you want it. Just press it on. Push it onto the shoe. Ooh, it's really warm and toasty in there. And just keep doing that till you're right along. Pull it back a little when you're doing it, and you can see right where you're trying to glue to. So I'm going to do this chunk, and then I'm going to leave this back and the back heel for later. And slide it where you want it. Alright, so the outside is completely glued right to the edge with this flappery flap on the back. And the front is glued down, snugly nuggly. And we're going to do the feared zipper side now. Don't be afraid, you got this. Just please don't glue the zipper because she'll cry. Alright, glue, go. Same thing, glue right along your edge. Little chunk holes, why don't we do in front of the zipper first? And then we're going to carry it right up to the back. And then we will cut out the zipper hole and finish the seam in the back. So this is pretty on here, which is good, because that's what we want. Keep your corner, your little triangle friend, headed towards where he needs to go in this back corner. I go here. Keep that in mind, because if you kind of just start gluing it straight across, it's not going to reach. So just do little pieces without doing your frickin' zipper. Oh, zipper. I'll probably do this on shoes, which would be a lot easier, because then you don't have a zipper. Maybe. And just stick it on there. Glue, glue, glue. Smoosh it. Tell it it's pretty. Whatever you need to do to make it stay. That's what you gotta do. And where's that frickin' zipper? Oh, zipper, I hate you. I don't really hate you, zipper. But I don't love you. I'll admit it. Keep going. Keep gluing. On the home stretch. You're probably a pro by now. You'll just be making these for fun. Sneak this up here. There. And keep going. That was kind of a big chunk. That's alright. It's all part of my big plan. Smushy, smushy, smush. So you see our back flappies? Plenty of room to make those all join up and be friends. Same with back here, because I left extra when I did my pattern. There's plenty to cover that freakishly weird part. This is a little long on this side. Make it kind of muddy. So you might have to do a little fancy trimming if you don't want it dragging on the ground. Or you can leave it dragging on the ground if you want to. It's totally up to you. Okay, so this back portion. Stop it, shoe. We obviously need to make this seam a little more presentable. So I'm probably going to take my blade. I'm going to fold it right along that back. And I'm going to cut right through there. You can draw a line with a Sharpie first to get this piece off. And then you can glue that down. And you can glue that down. And if you do it with the blade instead of scissors, you're going to have that glorious fringe to cover that seam. Okay? Get on it. Okay, so you see how I cut these two in the back with the blade, so I preserved the fringy stuff. And they're going to meet right up. So I'm just going to sneak a line of glue under each sides and push them together. And we will finish that upper seam. Maybe. It really is the extra arm right now, but I don't know, it's just not happening. So the back seam is totally covered. Can't even tell. Perfect. The next part of this project is to cover this thing.
The monster.
And do it the same as you did up here. And just line up your edge. And where there's extra on the flap, cut it right along there with the blade. And then some glue and smush it down. and this will cover this whole back portion of this panel. So, okay. So I cut and glued this side down, and then I cut this side to match with the blade, just to show you how it will fit. And then I'm just going to put glue on here and sneak this together. Pull the little furs away before you glue it, because you're going to use that to mask your seam. If I pull this away, it's already glued. You can see where the seam is, right up the back. But this furry stuff is so amazing. You just, nothing. Looks perfect. So there, your fur is on. Now we will tackle our zipper, which is just as easy. It's just a trim and a glue. We're almost done. Okay, the zipper. Free the zipper. To do the zipper, we need to obviously make an opening. So from the inside of the shoe, you can see about where the zipper lives, and I find if I hold it sideways, I can get a pretty good idea. I'm going to take just a orange stick, take the end of a paintbrush, take whatever you want, and I'm going to line it up from the inside along the zipper. So this is between the fur, the part that's not glued, and the zipper, and you can feel it through it. I can feel right here the end of that stick. And then I go ahead and make a part in the fur. So by doing that, I have a pretty good idea where to cut, and hopefully won't get a lot of that scatter fur, which at this point is all over my freaking house. And just use your blade, scissors, teeth, whatever brings you joy. I'm going to put my finger at the end so I know where my little, you push on it, you feel it kind of popping up there. Or just follow your part. And I'm going to cut right through that fabric. Look! Look at this stick. Now stop it. Some of the fur will be sad because it won't be in this project anymore, but it's going to have to get over it. Okay, so you beat it. Keep your little furries to the side. It will make your life easier in the end. There's a spot up here I didn't quite get it all the way through. Ta-da! And looky looky, a freaking zipper. Not glued down. Awesome. Looks like I need to feel it with my finger. It's almost at the end. I'm going to go just a little bit. Now stop it. A little bit further here. Oh, I can put it down. Amazing. See? There's the end. I don't know what this is. Oh, epoxy. But it's okay because it's only in the bottom. And what you will need to do now is just like you did on the back seam and that back panel part is actually it's kind of split open. You may not have to do any further cutting. This one I will a little because it's glued really close. This one has a little room. But roll this little edge back with your dinger and cut it so that it will match this little black seam thing. And then you're going to zip some glue in there. Remember at the bottom it makes a square. So it'll go down, over, and back up. And you just glue it down. The fur, again, will help to cover that zipper, so try to preserve it as best you can. So you don't have a giant zipper sticking out the side. Okay, do it. Ta-da! And there it is. So I went along and trimmed it, glued it right, maybe not that spot right there. Hold on. It's always something, you know. Glued it along, and you can mess with this little furry goodness with the fringe that you saved by using my secret how to cut fur and not lose the fringe. And look, I don't even know that there is a zipper here. Some kind of sorcery. But then when you have to take them off again, you just go like that and boom. That's it. So I am going to show you some ideas of how to use these little furry fawn Krampus shoes. These are going to be for a Krampus costume. And my kids and I were fauns for Halloween. And what I did was bought leggings that have the fur on the inside and just flipped them inside out for the bottom part of our legs. And you pulled the bottom of the legging right down over that hump. So all it was showing was this part, and it really exaggerated this area right here, which I guess would be a fetlock if you were using fancy terms. But with the leggings pulling down over this, you really saw from the side where it kicked out. And then there was just the fur and the hooves at the bottom. This pair I'm going to make furry pants of the same furry fur, and it will go actually just right over the top, so it will all kind of blend down together. I think Krampus is a little bit thicker than a fawn, so I'm using a different approach. So that is a fawn hoof, satyr hoof, Krampus hoof, hoof shoe. They look pretty cool. They're not that hard to do. It's a little time consuming. You may want to cut your hoof at the end. But I hope you liked it, and I will be posting more cleverness in the future. Have a good one. Bye!